Okay, so for my final presentation, I'm going to be going over everything that we've done in the semester. So I'll be going over my final portfolio, which is over here, and then I'll be reviewing within that my short responses, excuse me, my topic essays, and then my Fahrenheit paper, as well as with my website with that. So at the beginning of this, it's really just starting off with the very get-go, the syllabus, the course topics, and then, really just everything that the syllabus entails. The next thing is just a course information video. So again, just going over everything that's going to be within the course, everything that you were going to teach us, all the prezzies, all the weekly work assignments, activities, X, Y, and Z. And then with this next portion is starting the feedback key. So like you told us, the feedback key is very, very extensive. But as long as you do the control F and you search for the comments that you've made in our papers, then we're able to see what we've got going on. And then refer to that and kind of edit and go from there. So then next, it's just again talking about a few things within the feedback key because it's really extensive. And then these next few notes are reviewing the videos that you posted about the feedback key. Uh, pa, 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 pa. Sorry about that. My cat ran behind me. Okay, so this next video is, or excuse me, this next portion is talking about the first feedback key video and then the second one as well. And then again, there's a lot of things within the feedback key, and I know that the videos were just trying to somewhat compile them and summarize it. But again, the best thing that I realized and that you mentioned to do was to just search for all the comments that you made within it and then edit and go from there. And then this next portion is starting with all the prezzies. I kind of just put them all together. I referred to the checklist and then the course schedule so that I could have them all of them in here again, just one by one, so I didn't have to jump around. So the first one is the portfolios Prezi, and it initially starts talking about critical reading. Again, taking notes on that. We go over the do's and the do nots for the bibliographies, and again, just making sure that you don't plagiarize, that you just kind of know exactly what you're supposed to do so that when you go to do it, you do the correct thing and you don't mess up and take credit for somebody else's work. And then we go into reflections of a paper, credible research of a paper. Again, just talking about little pieces and parts of papers. And then we'll go into a little more detail later on with more prezzies. And then next, talking about credible research, and that's really important because if you don't have credible research, then you're not helping yourself, but then you're also spreading misinformation and you're not really serving the purpose of what you're trying to do. And then here's some more stuff about credibility, trustworthy, respected, all that. Excuse me. And then we go on to an activity, and that was just within the Prezi. And then this talks another portion of the Prezi, an essay exam, reviews that. And then here's a portion of the writing process within the essay exam. This was a practice activity for the Prezi. It was just talking about talk about yourself, your parents, what jobs they have, how they've shaped you, what jobs you have, and if the jobs that they have had or currently have shaped the job that you have today. To kind of touch on that, the jobs that they have didn't really affect my job choice or anything like that. Before becoming a vet assistant and hopefully soon to be RVT, I will, or excuse me, I had a lot of different jobs. I probably had like 10 to 15 different jobs prior to working here. And they've always instilled a hard work ethic in me, but they've never said, "Oh, you need to do this. You have to do this." They've just told me whatever I do, choose to do, put forth 100%. Um, this next portion is the next Prezi. It's the MLA Prezi. Um, with this, it just goes into a lot of detail about what exactly you need to do MLA correctly, and whether that be the citations at the end, the formatting, or the in-text citations. It just goes into a lot of detail. So MLA actually stands for Modern Language Association. And then from there, it's just let me see. Yeah, it says a scholarly document has over the decades acquired increasingly complex rules and formats, as well to suggest that some of the information traditionally included in citations may be dispensed with today. And that's in the MLA handbook, excuse me. But again, what is MLA, and then going over the parts of MLA. So what I briefly spoke about a second ago, format, in-text citations, and then works cited. The format is just being 12-point font Times New Roman, and then having double spaced, and then having your excuse me, your name, your teacher's name, your class, the date, title, and again, I'm just briefly going over it. But 1 inch margins, and then running head with your page number, and then the name, your last name as well. And then, so this is talking about the in-text citations. You always need to make sure to do those because, again, you might have your works cited page at the end of it, but you need to make sure that you have your in-text citations throughout. I'm guilty of that. I got to make sure that I have my in-text citations. I do forget a lot because I think that the works cited page covers it. Nope, you got to have both. That's part of MLA. Excuse me. So another thing is if you're able to identify where exactly in a book that the quote has come from, like you're reading it and you can directly identify, then you need to put the page number and the author's name with the direct quote as well. And then this just goes into more in-text citations about a lot of authors, no authors, electronic sources, just again, how to use in-text citations for each of those. There's a lot of types of in-text citations. Then moving on to the next Prezi, we've got the APA Prezi. Again, that's just a different type of formatting, just like MLA, there'll be APA, and it just goes over everything with that. With APA, the big difference is APA is mostly used with the social sciences. So with that, you've got some of the things that are different. Is having having a header, an abstract, and then again, it's just formatted a little bit differently if you take a look at it. And then talking about citations again, references, the reference page, that's different than the MLA is reference page, not works cited. So that's a little bit different. And then the entries for the reference page are ABC order. So again, that's mentioned in the directions as well. Okay, so then again, more references, and then here were just some resources for where to go to help if we needed some assistance with that. And then quotes within the writing, and then signal phrases help introduce quotes, information, whatever, just so you can get it going and it's not just plopped in the middle of your sentence, paragraph, whatever it might be. Next Prezi is the argument-based Prezi. Goes over quite a few things. Plagiarism, excuse me, that's a tongue twister. Plagiarism Prezi. Basic grammar Prezi, that just goes over just basic grammar things, verbs, nouns, commas. Next, sorry, I'm trying to get through all the Prezis. Next, we have the claims and proof Prezi. So with that one, understanding claims will help you as readers predict and anticipate certain features of that type of argument. So just knowing, okay, this is what they're saying. let's format our response and then go from there, and just able to do that quickly and concisely. And then talking about the types of claims, fact, definition, cause, value, and policy. And again, go into more explanation about what each of those are. Next, talking about proofs and the different types of proofs. Briefly touching on ethos and pathos. And then, let me see. So these right here, this is just talking about the Tomlin model, and that's just backing up every claim. So that's just saying if I make a claim, I have information, facts, what have you to back it up. So it's not just a loose claim. So then next we have the thesis statement prezi, and that's just going over thesis statements and how to form good ones. So what a thesis statement is, it's the main idea of your essay, the central point of your idea's support. So your thesis statement should always be at the end of your introduction paragraph. It should always be concise, and throughout the paper you should go back and kind of circle to your thesis statement. So here was what a successful thesis statement is. Again, a thesis statement should also be debatable. It shouldn't just be so clear and cut that nobody can argue it. You need to be able to say, okay, I agree, I disagree, and be able to go from there. But again, you're not trying to fight with people. You want to just have a nice argumentative thesis. And again, thesis isn't your topic. It's just your statement from the topic. Sorry, that was my cats. And then here was a little formula for the thesis statement. Then again, just going over that prezi. Then there's the active reading prezi, and that's just going over active reading and how you should highlight, take notes. If it's your copy of the book, you should dog ear and just like be actively thinking as you're reading so that you can comprehend it a little bit better. And then just again, more about active reading, writing process, intro to literature prezi, lots of prezis. And then logical fallacies prezi. Okay. All right, so then this gets into the class activities, and then they're all together as well. So then first one was just going over who you are, going a little detail about yourself, and then giving APA reference or citations for the articles given. And then here's the next activity. I liked the activities for the most part. They differed quite a bit, so you got a different taste of different things. They weren't all the same website. It was quite a variety, so I like that. I really enjoyed doing these quizzes. I did pretty well for the most part. I only missed the first one, and I think it's because I got a little bit ahead of myself. But I really enjoyed those. And then listening to that, it was interesting. I mean, again, I think the recording I listened to didn't help. But if I actually just listen to the words again, if you really pay attention to what he's saying, it's a really good message. And then again, going through the rest of the activities, free speech, and this is kind of getting into the Fahrenheit presentation and also the paper as well. So before I go to the excuse me, the website, I'm gonna go over the paper. With Fahrenheit, and that was my review. I hate to say that I didn't like it. I'm just not the biggest fan of reading in general. I have really short attention span. But the message is really good in Fahrenheit. And I think it really pertains to what society is like nowadays, and that's kind of what I wrote in my paper. The short responses, got those in here. And again, I liked the variation of the topics. It wasn't all about the same stuff. And and I really tried to edit those as well. Looking back for the final journal submission, um, looking at the list of no, and then the feedback key as well. Um, okay, topic essay. I really tried to revise that. That's what I spent most time on, I think, with the feedback key. And let me get, okay, so here's my Fahrenheit paper. And what I kind of tried to do, and what I also discussed with the Writing Center, is I was a little taken aback by, I kind of thought the prompt, it was broad prompt at first, but what we decided to talk about was initially just censorship in the book and what's going on there. And then we tried to relate that to censorship in today's society. And what she really recommended was just starting broad with the book, narrowing it into today's society, and then touching back on everything at the conclusion is what she recommended. So that's what I really tried to go for. So I mentioned the book, and then I talked about today's society and book bans and everything like that nowadays. And then tried to tie it back together, and also touched on how social media and everything is kind of similar. I just had it right here. Yeah. Similar to what Mildred has going on with the obsession with her family on the parlor walls. Like that's kind of what social media is nowadays. Um, and then I wanted to show you the website real quick. So this is my website. Um, this is the home page, and then this next part talks about Ray Bradbury, and this is a picture of him with George W. Bush. And then just a little bit of information about him. And this is a short timeline, but timeline of his life, a few things I thought were pretty interesting. And then little brief summary, synopsis of Fahrenheit. And then I included this picture because what it is, it's a center of study slash museum at Indiana University, specifically for Ray Bradbury, or not for him, but centered from his study of science fiction and everything. And then this was something that I wanted to include because it was a painting of his, and he didn't just write, he enjoyed painting in his free time as well. And then this next one I'll go to in just a minute. That's an interactive activity, and that's just a little quiz about him. And this next one's a video. Again, I'll circle back to it. And then this is my little bit about me. Those are my co-authors. And then, so with the interactive activity, it's just little quiz that you can take if you're interested. Not what character are you? Hold on. Well, it's there. I might have clicked the wrong thing. And then after that, we've got this was a TED talk, just kind of promoting why you should read Fahrenheit. But again, that's something that you can look at on your own time. And then the last thing I wanted to show you were these few websites, just talking about book bans and just kind of censorship in today's day and age. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. So the vast majority of the school book bans occurred in Florida, and this was within 2023. And then most of the book bans were LGBTQ and things that people just found a little bit more offensive. Then we've also got, this is quite a long article, but it was just talking about the increase on how many books are getting censored. And then this last one was just in North Carolina, in 2023. Attempts to restrict access to books was 47, and then titles challenged in those attempts were 229. So we've got quite a bit of things going on, just like they did in Fahrenheit 451. So I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.